In a previous segment for Backyard Farmer, we talked to Stacy Adams about a really interesting research project that the university is engaged in across the state. Here we are in August, our hops are up and growing, and we're going to give you a little bit more information about what we have actually discovered. Okay, Stacy, so now that we're actually into the first season of our research project, what do we think we're going to be able to tell both our commercial growers and our home brewers about what we've discovered?
Well, given it's Nebraska, we don't have any previous information on it. So what we've found so far is that some of the breeding work was mainly done in the northwest part of the United States. So we're hoping to identify, or we're looking at some varieties that are conducive to our environment. So that's what we're hoping, as well as our soils are different here, as well as timely rains and all that.
Our Backyard Farmer audience is asking us questions about how you actually grow the hops. They want to know things like cultural practices, trellising, what we're seeing in terms of insects and pests that they could manage in their own home or small farm landscape. Can we give them that advice yet, or are we still working on that?
So one of the goals of this project was to look at how to cultivate hops in Nebraska, given our soils are different, so water management and nutrition. So we're gathering that information. As well as insects and diseases that we potentially have. Another thing we need to be concerned of is management of the rhizomes. This is a woodlands plant that wants to get quite aggressive, so we have to learn how to manage the underground rhizomes as well as the top of the canopy.
Okay, it looks like these are beautiful and actually ready to harvest. How do our home brewers and our commercial people know that it is time to get the hops hopping off the vines?
So we're really getting close to harvest. One of the things a grower needs to do is probably not have all one variety, because the plants will all come in to harvest at about the same time. So a good manager or a grower will have a couple different varieties to spread that over, because the harvest window is somewhere around 6 to 8 weeks on all the different types of varieties. We're really close right now because it's got a straw flower type feel, where when you squeeze them, they kind of spring right back. And they're not quite ready when you squeeze them, and then they're like a sponge where they slowly come back into place. What we want is the setting of the chemistry, the lupulin, and we know we're right on when they get to that straw flower feel.
And then I'm assuming that the window for getting them harvested and getting them actually into the processing plant is pretty small, pretty short. One of those classic crop sorts of things where you don't have a whole lot of time or the quality of the product goes downhill. Is that correct? And what has to happen?
So once we've identified that we're needing to harvest the plant, you're basically like almost cutting grass. We're going to take the whole plant down from the ground to the top. And people have to remember, this is a food crop, so we don't want to be dragging it around on the ground. So some people lay tarps on. Commercially, the machine, they take it right into the machine and then they harvest the cones. Keeping in mind, unlike agronomic crops where the moisture content is way down, on this particular plant we're harvesting somewhere between the 70 and 80% moisture content. So we don't have a lot of time to deal with the cones. The cones need to be starting the drying process within about a 2-hour period. So that's something we need to watch for.
Okay, Stacy, we're looking forward to the conclusion of this project in 3 years and getting these hops into the Pilsners where they belong.